Okay guys, I got a little treat today. I'm working under the car, as you can tell, so hopefully the video turns out okay. So listen, Jay had a really great idea. We're putting a lot of power into this car with a turbo LS build. So just for a little extra safety, we're gonna add a loop that goes around the drive shaft to basically hold it in case something breaks. So what could happen is the CV joint on the drive shaft could come apart at some point in this car's life. And if it does, then it can spin around. Pieces can either come up through the floor here because it's really just sheet metal, or it could dig into the ground, though I don't think I've ever heard of that actually happening, and maybe that's a myth, but either way, a little bit of extra safety. So it's called the drive shaft loop. I looked online, I couldn't find one for this car for the way that we're building it. So we're gonna build one. So Jay's idea here, if you can see my finger, yeah, you can. So here on the floor, there's a cross beam that comes across here, and there's one right over here as well. There's a factory drain hole right here. I think just to let water out. There's actually 3 of them. I'm gonna repurpose one of them. I'm gonna hog it out a little bit, and we're gonna put a nut up inside it and weld it back in. And over here, there isn't a drain hole, but I'm gonna drill a hole and do the same thing. Now this frame cross member or floor cross member is super deep in this spot, not like the front one. So there's lots of room for a bolt to go up. And basically when we get a little further along in the build, we're gonna make that drive shaft loop. It's gonna bolt onto that section and kind of come up into the tunnel here and go around in a circle around the drive shaft. So if the CV shaft were to break, there's basically the loop to encapsulate it, and the drive shaft has nowhere to go but to basically drop in and just spin around inside the loop. Enjoy. Okay guys, so my weapon of choice here is called a stepper bit. I just pop in there, you'll see it's like a little pyramid. Each one of the rings gets progressively bigger, and I just use that up in here to make my hole bigger. Started with a pilot hole on this side, and then same thing, use that stepper bit. So the goal was to make one of these types of bolts, and this is basically a, sorry, nut, I meant a nut. This nut has a flange built into it. And I kept making that hole to the size where that bolt would basically fit right up into the hole that I drilled. Another nice benefit of the stepper bit is it tends to chamfer the edge. So that will fit perfectly in there. And it does. I'm really happy with it. It fits perfect on both sides. So my next step, bring in the welder. Okay folks, here we are with the Esab 215 IC welder. We've got our MIG gas bottle turned on, and we're just ready to turn the power on this thing and get going. All right, so this welder has an auto feature. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe if I block the sun. Okay, so it has an auto feature. So basically with an auto feature, we just really need to tell it what thickness material we're running. We're gonna weld the ultra thick today. So I'm gonna rotate this up. I actually have no idea what gauge metal that is. The nut's obviously super thick. The metal itself, I'm not really sure, but from some experience, about 180 is probably fine. And I really want to burn that thing in there. I don't want it to come out. So I'm gonna put a lot of the heat in the nut and then just sort of wisp over into the metal on the car so I don't burn a big hole in it, but that'll be my trick. Howdy ho, neighbors. I'm sure that's copyrighted, but that's how I feel because you can only see from my nose up. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this thing welded in. All right, so I'm gonna use a bolt to hold it. Just gotta push it up and put a couple tacks on it to get it going. Kind of hold it in place. Okay, well, that one's not going anywhere. I'm gonna do the same on the other side, and then we'll final weld them in. All right, I'm happy with that. Let's weld it all the way around. Now that looks cool. Look at that. It's not really on fire, folks. Oh, it kind of looks that way. All right, got both of them in. So I'm gonna turn the welder off. Next thing we'll do is hit this with a grinder with a flapper disc in it just to smooth it all down. See you on the other side. Sweet, all done. Give me a second, I'll show you. All right, boys and girls, all done there. It's on that side. And here's the one on that side. And pretty happy with that. Job done. So as far as loop goes, I'm gonna wait till the transmission's sitting in here for our mock-up next time. And we'll build a bracket that goes from here. And it may, I don't know, depending, it may go straight up and down and then have a lower loop. It may go back a little bit, kind of depends on where the drive shaft and the yoke sit. But we'll show you that later. Thanks for watching.
Rod here from the Bad Gas Production Crew. Thanks for tuning in this week. We really appreciate it. If you like our channel, give us a big thumbs up. Share with your friends. And if you got anything to say, chuck one in the comment section below, because we like to see what you guys want to see. If you're a subscriber, make sure to hit that notify bell so you're notified of any Bad Gas Production new stuff. From me and the rest of the Bad Gas Production Crew, we want to make sure you put some miles on those rides. Put some love in your builds, and the main thing of all is have a bad gas time doing it. Ha ha!